King Kong ain't got shit on me. Yeah, but what happens when the real life cop behind that same energy actually exists? So boom, let me introduce you to the real life Alonzo, aka the real life Rafael Perez, a man who wore a badge but moved like a gang boss in the streets of LA. He's the real life inspiration behind Denzel's Oscar-winning role in Training Day, and his story pulled the curtain back on one of the biggest police corruption scandals in US history. I just learned about this too. I didn't know that that Training Day was inspired by a real cop. Like, I mean, I know there's like cops like that out there, but I didn't know that this was a real guy. So I got to share with y'all. Rafael Perez was born in Puerto Rico in 1967. He eventually joined the LAPD in 1989 and rose to become a star officer in the Rampart Division's Crash Unit, a so-called elite anti-gang task force. But behind closed doors, he was out here moving like a villain in plain sight. In 1996, Perez and his partner shot an unarmed gang member, Javier Ovando, paralyzing him. Oh snap, that must have been Snoop Dogg in Training Day. Remember he was in the wheelchair? Then they planted a gun on him and lied in court, sending him to prison for 23 years. Yes, you heard that right. When the truth came out, Ovando was exonerated and received a multi-million-dollar settlement. In 1998, Perez stole 6 pounds of cocaine from the LAPD evidence locker. To cover it up, he replaced it with Bisquick flour and checked it out under another officer's name. When he was caught and facing serious time, Perez flipped like a switchblade. In a plea deal, he admitted to framing dozens of people, planting evidence, and covering up misconduct. He spilled about 70 officers in the Rampart Division, doing shady stuff, to beatdowns, to perjury, and planting guns on civilians. He confessed to so much that he ended up giving 4,000 plus pages of testimony to investigators. But here's the kicker. Perez was even lying in some of his confessions, failed polygraphs, and made claims that couldn't always be backed up. He served 5 years in state prison, then 2 more in federal prison. For civil rights violations in the Ovando shooting, the LAPD had to overturn more than 100 convictions, fire or discipline dozens of officers, and pay over $125 million in lawsuits. The scandal shook LA to its core and became the blueprint for Alonzo Harris's wild, corrupted character in Training Day. Perez also got tied to the Biggie Smalls murder investigation in later lawsuits. But he denied involvement, but the streets still whisper. Rafael Perez did not just become a dirty cop. He became the poster child for when power meets ego with no accountability. He was charismatic, ambitious, and wanted to be the man, even if that meant stepping on the law to do it. He treated justice like a game, manipulating the system from the inside out. It's almost like he became the villain he was protecting people from. There's a deep narcissistic high that can come from playing both sides. Officer by day, criminal by night. Perez was addicted to that duality. And when it all came down, he weaponized the truth to save himself. When I first heard about this story, I had to share it with y'all because I thought this was crazy and very interesting. So that is Rafael Perez. I would like to know more information about the involvement that he has with the Biggie Smalls murder investigation. So I might have to look into that and let y'all know. Let me know if you want to hear about it. You can watch or listen about him on PBS Frontline, which has an entire doc on the Rampart scandal. Of course, you can watch Training Day, which was directly inspired by Perez's energy, arrogance, and tactics. City of Lies, which came out in 2018, also covers part of the Rampart and Biggie cases, so I might have to actually watch that. And then you could also, of course, look up LAPD Rampart scandals on YouTube or streaming platforms for deeper dives. Do you think Rafael Perez was just one man in a broken system, or did he create the corruption around him? Let's talk about it in the comments. You already know. As always, stay safe, stay informed, and make sure to hit that follow button if you'd like to see more deadly doses like this one. Okay, bye.